Good morning to all. Today I am going to take class about theories of personality, social learning perspective of Dollard and Miller and Rotter. Social learning theory was proposed by Neil and Miller and John Dollard in 1941. The proposition of social learning was expanded upon and theorized by Canadian psychologist Albert Bandura from 1962 until the present. Social learning theory emphasizes on the importance of observing and modeling the behaviors, attitudes, and emotional reactions of others. Social learning theory always focuses on the learning occur within a social context, or it is in a social group or in a social platform. And this theory built on understanding of the interaction of individual and his or her environment. In social learning theory, people are trying to learn by imitation or modeling. Therefore, the model or the third person can be a reinforcer. For instance, from an operant condition perspective, learners are reinforced often enough that they could continue to copy those around them. As a result, their imitation itself becomes a habitat which is called generalized. SR learning theory by Dollard and Miller. John Dollard and Neil Miller were a psychologist at Yale University. While working at Yale, they came under the influence of Clark Leonard Hull, a leading learning theorist. Together, Dollard and Miller decided to apply Hull's theory of learning to the area of personality development. According to them, learning theory in its simplest form is the study of circumstances under which a response and a stimulus is become connected. So their theory is called SR learning or reinforcement theory of personality. They concluding that personality is the sum of individuals' learned habits. SR paradigm. Dollard and Miller worked upon the premises forwarded by Hull, who emphasized the concept of drive and habit. Hull postulated that every behavior is a response to a specific stimulus and this behavior is impelled by a drive. So Hull പറഞ്ഞിരിക്കുന്നത് ഓരോ ബിഹേവിയറും ഒരു സ്പെസിഫിക് ആയിട്ടുള്ളൊരു സ്റ്റിമുലസിൻ്റെ റെസ്പോൺസാണ്. ആൻഡ് ഈ ബിഹേവിയർ പ്രേരിപ്പിക്കുന്നതിന് കാരണം ഒരു ഡ്രൈവാണ്. If repeatedly the drive is reduced by the organism's response to the stimulus, a habit is formed. Dollard and Miller took off from Hull's postulates and through animal experiments and theorization extended the concepts through diverse human behavior. They recognized the significant roles and culture and socialization in determining the nature of drive, response, and drive reduction. According to Dollard and Miller, there are four fundamental factors which are important in the process of learning. Drive, cue, response, and reinforcement were the basic four factors which is helpful in the process of learning. In order to learn, one must want something, notice something, and do something and get something. Stated more exactly, these factors are drive, cue, response, and reward. Drive, which is a motivation. The next is cue, that is a stimulus. After that, there is a response. Response is an action. Next is a reinforcement, that is a reward for the response. Drive. It is any stimulus which is external or internal which initiates or impels action of the part of the organism. When some response is followed by reinforcement, the connection between the stimulus and response will be strengthened and the same response is likely to occur. The strengthening of the connection between stimulus and response depends on reinforcement. Drives are of two types. First one is primary and സെക്കൻഡറി. പ്രൈമറി മീൻസ് സൈക്കോളജിക്കലായിട്ടുള്ള നീഡ്സ് ഒരു ഇൻഡിവിജ്വലിൻ്റെ, അതാണ് പ്രൈമറി നീഡ്സ് വിച്ച് ആർ എസെൻഷ്യൽ ഫോർ ദ സർവൈവൽ ഓഫ് ദ ഓർഗാനിസം, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് തേഴ്സ്റ്റ്, hunger, sex, oxygen, etc. Secondary means which is not innate needs, but they are acquired through the process of social learning, that is money, affection, prestige, achievement, etc. The second factor is cue. A cue is a stimulus that guides the organism to act in a specific mode. According to learning theory of personality, cues are basic in learning. They may be internal or external and produce responses from the learning. The third factor is response. It is a drive state created by psychological needs, impels the organism for action. The fourth factor is reinforcement. It is an important ingredient in the process of establishing stimulus and response habits. It takes place in the presence of a drive. Immediate reinforcement after the response is more effective than a delayed reinforcement. സോ ഏതെങ്കിലും ഒരു റെസ്പോൺസിന് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള റീഇൻഫോഴ്സ്മെൻറ്റ് ആണ് എഫക്റ്റീവ്. ഡിലേ ആയിട്ട് ഒരു റീഇൻഫോഴ്സ്മെൻറ്റ് കൊടുക്കുന്നതിലും കൂടുതൽ എഫക്റ്റീവ് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ് റീഇൻഫോഴ്സ്മെൻ്റ് ആണ്. ഇഫ് എ ചൈൽഡ് ഈസ് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ്ലി റിവാർഡഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ എ കറക്റ്റ് റെസ്പോൺസ്, he would be able to identify the reward with the act that he must learn to perform. The next is conflict. It refers to contradictory response tendencies elicited by one or more than one stimuli. So conflicts are of 4 types. First is approach conflict. Second is avoidance conflict. Third one is approach avoidance conflict. The fourth one is double approach avoidance conflict. So approach conflict means the conflict involves a choice between 2 positive alternatives. 2 പോസിറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടൊരു ഓൾട്ടർനേറ്റീവ്സിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു ചോയ്സ് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഉണ്ടാകുന്ന കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റാണ് അപ്രോച്ച് കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റ്. അതേപോലെ അവോയ്ഡൻസ് കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റ് മീൻസ് 2 നെഗറ്റീവ് ഓൾട്ടർനേറ്റീവ്സ് ഉള്ളപ്പോൾ അതിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റ് ചോയ്സ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ടുള്ളത്. അപ്രോച്ച് അവോയ്ഡൻസിൽ in this case a positive and negative alternate ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ ഉള്ളതാണ് അപ്രോച്ച് അവോയ്ഡൻസ് കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റ്. പിന്നെ ഡബിൾ അപ്രോച്ച് അവോയ്ഡൻസ് കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റിൽ 2 ഗോൾസ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 2 ഓപ്ഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. അതിൽ അട്രാക്റ്റീവും അൺഅട്രാക്റ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഫ്യൂച്ചേഴ്സുമുണ്ട്. അതിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു ചോയ്സ് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്യുമ്പം റൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റാണ് ഡബിൾ അപ്രോച്ച് അവോയ്ഡൻസ് കോൺഫ്ലിക്റ്റ്. Fundamental characteristics of learning. In addition to the 4 fundamental principles of learning, Dollard and Miller identified a number of other principles which are essential in the process of learning. First one is extinction. It is a process of weakening or eliminating the previously learned response. Reinforcement strengthens the connection between stimulus and response. When a response is not rewarded, the connection between stimulus and response is weakened. Stimulus generalization. Stimulus generalization is a process in which responses learned from one situations are transferred to a variety of similar situations. The amount of stimulus generalization depends on the similarity between 2 situations. Greater the similarity, greater the stimulus generalization. If lesser the similarity, then lesser be the stimulus generalization. Habit hierarchy response. It assumes that for any stimulus situation, an organism has the potential of making any number of responses. These responses may be ordered in terms of their probability of occurrence in the stimulus situation. The fourth one is discrimination. In this process, learned responses are made to a particular and appropriate cues in the environment and not to others. Next is the critical evaluation of Dollard and Miller's SR theory. Some criticize this theory since the learning principles have been derived from researches done on rats under controlled conditions, so their applicability in human beings is doubtful. സോ കുറച്ച് സയൻറ്റിസ്റ്റ് റിസർച്ചേഴ്സ് പറഞ്ഞു ഇത് റാറ്റ്സിനെ വെച്ച് കൺട്രോൾഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കണ്ടീഷനിലാണ് റിസർച്ച് ചെയ്തേക്കുന്നത്. സോ അത് ഹ്യൂമൻ ബീയിങ്സിൽ അത് എത്രത്തോളം സക്സസ്ഫുൾ ആകും, ആപ്ലിക്കബിൾ ആകും എന്നുള്ളതിൽ ഒരു ഡൗട്ട്ഫുൾനെസ് അവർ എക്സ്പ്രസ് ചെയ്തു. The next critical evaluation was the theory is oversimplified and which is not deep, and it neglected the importance of cognitive behavior. Environmental determinants of personality was more emphasized and neglected the genetic and internal factors. The structure or the process of acquisition of personality is not well explained in this theory. The next is, it is accused of being atomistic and fragmented approach. Cognitive process of language and thought have not explained adequately. The educational implications of stimulus response theory of Dollard and Miller. So the classroom must be activity ഓറിയൻറ്റഡ് ആയിരിക്കണം, സ്റ്റുഡൻറ്റ് സെൻറ്റേർഡ് ആയിരിക്കണം, ടീച്ചർ അവിടെ സപ്പോർട്ടീവ് ആയിരിക്കണം, ഒരു റീഇൻഫോഴ്സറായിട്ട് ആക്ട് ചെയ്യണം. ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് ഈസ് റെസ്പോൺസിന് ഇമ്മീഡിയറ്റ് ആയിട്ട് റീഇൻഫോഴ്സ്മെൻറ്റ് കൊടുക്കണം. ദെൻ ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ നമ്മൾ പഠിച്ച കാര്യങ്ങൾ വേറെ സിമിലർ സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് ഒരു കഴിവ് കൊടുക്കണം. സോ ദീസ് വേ ദ എഡ്യൂക്കേഷണൽ ഇംപ്ലിക്കേഷൻസ് ഓഫ് ഡൊളാർഡ് ആൻഡ് മില്ലേഴ്സ് തിയറി. The next is Rotter's expectancy and reinforcement model. So Rotter was born in 1960. He was a leading psychologist and come under the social learning theorist who emphasized the importance of interaction of individual with his meaningful environment. According to him, personality is stable and independent. Personality can change with new experience. Behavior is goal directed. Movement towards the goal is governed by two variables, that is reinforcement and individual expectancy. And he developed the expectancy reinforcement model. The basic concept of Rotter's expectancy and reinforcement models were, first one is behavioral potential. It refers to the potential for a behavior to occur in a specific situation as a function of its relationship to a specific set of reinforcements. The next is expectancy. It refers to the probability held by the individual that a particular reinforcement will follow a specific behavior in a specific situation. Expectancy is independent of the value of reinforcement. Reinforcement value. This refers to one's personal preference for one's reinforcement over the other reinforcement if the probability of occurrence for each reinforcement is equal. Psychological situation. It is the part of situation to which individual is responding in terms of his subjective reaction to that situation. The essential component of this concept is the meaning that the individual gives to situation. According to Rotter, the behavior of the organism in a situation is influenced by his perception of that situation. Predictive formula in Rotter's theory. The predictive formula is the behavioral potential is equal to the function of E is the expectancy and RV is the reinforcement value. So behavioral potential is the function of expectancy and a reinforcement value. In other words, it is the likelihood of a person's exhibiting a particular behavior is a function of the probability that the behavior will lead to a given outcome and the desirability that outcome. If the expectancy and reinforcement are both high, then behavioral potential is high. So expectancyയും reinforcementും lower ആണെങ്കിൽ behavior potential will also be lower. The next is locus of control. According to Rotter's, locus of control is an individual's sense of personal control over events in their life. This dispositional explanation can be divided into two types, internal and external. Internal locus of control, the individual believes that his or her success are due to the factors within their own control. and their behavior is guided by his or her personal decisions and efforts. The external locus of control means the individual believes his or her success or failures are due to the factors outside of their own control, and the behavior is guided by fate, luck, or other external circumstances. The educational implications of Rorty's theory was the behavioral potential or the performance of student can be improved by enhancing reinforcement. The performance of the students can also be improved by providing them with the expectancy of their own interest. Provide the reinforcement of students' wish. Then students should be taught to analyze things objectively, which is not in a subjective manner. They should taught to analyze things in an objective manner. Thank you.